The latest movie news and reviews to see or not to see.
Hey guys, I'm back, and today I'm reviewing a film from early 2011, the superhero epic Thor. I was actually lucky enough to attend the world premiere of this movie in Sydney, and as a self-confessed comic book geek, meeting the stars of the film was pretty exciting. I even managed to get a toy Mjolnir, that's Thor's hammer, signed by Chris Hemsworth himself. Anyways, on to the movie. I was pretty excited going into this film. Marvel had reinvented the comic book movie genre, with Iron Man really bringing some believability and justice to their characters. But when you're dealing with a film about the Norse god of thunder, grounding him in reality can be quite tricky. But Marvel pulled it off, with Thor being one of their best movies to date. The movie's obviously one piece of the Avengers puzzle, which is released in April 2012, featuring Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, and Hulk. But unlike Iron Man 2, this movie doesn't feel like it's forcing the connections between the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe down your throat. Don't get me wrong, there's lots of references, with S.H.I.E.L.D. featuring quite predominantly, Hawkeye making a brief cameo, and other small things, but none of it feels forced. If anything, it adds to the story. Chris Hemsworth, who you may remember as Kim in Home and Away, takes the title role as Thor, and I'll admit I was worried about how good his performance would actually be. His brief role in Star Trek was good, but to take on the starring role on a huge summer blockbuster seemed like a bit of a daunting task. But he manages to make this role his own, much like Robert Downey Jr. did with Tony Stark in Iron Man. He blends the emotional side of the boy losing his father, as well as the cocky confidence of a warrior who thinks it with his fists rather than his head. This movie has made him a household name and a global phenomenon, and he'll only be even more popular once The Avengers is released. The supporting cast are also fantastic. Natalie Portman brings a lot to the role of Jane Foster. Stellan Skarsgård is great as her father figure colleague Eric Selvig, and Tom Hiddleston was born to play Thor's brother and inevitably nemesis Loki. But to me, the shining star was Kat Dennings as Darcy. She's Jane Foster's assistant and brings most of the comic relief to the film. Her delivery and timing is brilliant. I actually found myself in fits of laughter at times when she was on the screen. And as always with the Marvel character movies, Stan the Man Lee makes his trademark cameo, and it's probably one of the funniest out of any of the Marvel films so far. I'd highly recommend this one to anyone who's looking for a good night with a movie. It has the perfect blend of action, comedy, and a little bit of romance thrown in for good measure. Plus, there was a collective gasp from the ladies in the cinema when Hemsworth removes his shirt at one point, so that might be a good way for the guys to convince their girlfriends or wives to watch it with them. Thor is available on DVD and Blu-ray now, and I give it a 4 out of 5.
Check out more movie reviews online right now to seeornottosee.net.